Prop Chat, ultimate insights of trading with Sabio.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Prop Chat. Today's episode is very different. We're stepping off the trading floor and onto the tennis court with Alexander Ritschard. He's a Swiss pro, a former world number 99 who's battled serious injuries, defied the odds, and made his mark on the ATP Tour. Whether you're a trader or a sports fan, this one's for you. Hello, Alex. First of all, I'd like to thank you for accepting our invitation and becoming a guest here on our podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Pleasure's all mine. Happy to be here.
Thank you, sir. So, today's episode is a bit of a crossover. We've got your fans watching us, and we've also got our own trading audience. Athletes and traders seem like they're playing totally different games, but I want everyone to have fun today, and I want everyone to learn something interesting regardless of their background, So before we dive into the serious stuff, let's warm up with a quick little game, which I called Tradennis, like trading and tennis. Tradeness. So let's try to bridge the gap between the two worlds. So what you think?
Sounds like a plan. Shoot away.
Great. All right. So here's how it works. I'll tell you something that traders often do, a ritual or some kind of habit, superstition, or mindset, and you'll tell me what the tennis equivalent is. Basically how or if you do the same weird stuff that we do. By you, I mean pro athletes. So if you're ready, we can start.
Perfect. Let me know.
All right, the first superstitious or habit. Traders are very superstitious. For example, many of us don't trade during the full moon. Some of us don't enter a trade if the clock hits a weird number, like 5:55 or 11:11. Do you guys have those kind of rituals on your game days? Or what's your version of the full moon?
Tennis players, I can't speak for everyone, but tennis players in general have definitely superstition is a part of the game. For me personally, it's not the full moon, it's not 11:11, but I usually have a routine I follow throughout the day leading up to a match, and if I win the match, I do it, religiously every day. It involves, some meditation in the morning, a good meal, the same warm up, listening to the same music playlist. And then if I win, I also, I eat the same, meals every day if I win. So, those are my quirks, but there's many, many others, like not touching the line or aligning your bottles in a certain way.
The world of trading might look complex, but it's not as alien as it seems. We're Sabio Trade, a prop trading firm, and we give traders real capital, up to $650,000. Pass our assessment, show you've got the skills, and you can keep up to 90% of the profits that you make. Don't think you're ready yet? We'll teach you everything you need to know through Sabio Academy, our online platform with pro-level courses, live webinars, and expert guidance from real traders. So, are you ready to explore something new? But you personally don't have any superstitions of like stepping on the court with the very same food or something like that?
No, nothing food related on the court, but I do have this thing where I need to place my bags a certain way, and I tend to do it like that every match. Tennis bag to the right and the little other bag with my stuff in it to the left. So yeah, it has to kind of be like that every match.
Yeah, I can feel that. So another one, we call it revenge trading. That's when someone makes a bad trade and immediately tries to win it back, and usually makes it even worse, So what's the tennis version of that?
I would say, for me personally, I would say it's when I get broken. That's when when a tennis player serves, and then he loses the game on his serve. It's called getting broken. So, you get broken, and then for me personally, I'm like, I get so mad and I want to get that game back so quickly, so that I go out there and I rush the points even more, and I start missing and make things, a whole lot worse, as you probably know.
All right. As far as I know, before a big trading session, some people just blast pump-up music or sit in total silence to get in the mood. So what's your pre-match vibe? Maybe you hit the, Prodigy album, or maybe you prefer some meditation, or maybe even something else.
I kind of, I don't listen to the same song every day for every week leading up to the match, but I usually pick a playlist, mostly random, and it's mainly like heavy electronic music, to kind of get the adrenaline going, and it just, it just mentally and everything gets me ready. So I usually just do that, but every time a different playlist every week. So that's how I do it.
Some traders obsess over their desk setup. Dual screens, monitors, perfect mouse pad, lighting. Do tennis players obsess over gear the same way?
Again, it's different for every player, but I definitely make sure that my bag is like super organized and nice. My rackets have to go in a certain way. I need to have, something, certain things in the smaller bag, certain things in the bigger bag, and I just need to be like very organized with where my stuff is, so I really just can easily access it. But I know players that just, they just throw their stuff in the bag and it looks, like a complete mess. But I guess sometimes, it works for them. So that's no judgment there. But I can't do that. I need to have a clean setup, yeah.
Some traders use mantras or affirmations before risky trades. Do you have anything to say to yourself before big games? Is there any kind of, inner monologue or even dialogue with your inner self?
Yeah, so I do, like I said, I meditate in the morning, and then sometimes not sometimes, all the time before the match, I try to breathe for 1 minute, and in that 1 minute there's not something I repeatedly tell myself, but I just try to positively, reinforce myself, to stay calm, to focus, to kind of, get my mind ready for the match and what I need to do out there. But nothing, not the same thing every day. I just really try to keep the dialogue positive, yeah.
In trading, people backtest strategies, basically studying what exactly worked before and then just tweaking it a bit. Do you actually review your matches in the same way? I mean, like watching tapes of your previous games and fixing some patterns.
Rarely. That's usually for me when let's say I lose a match, I want to leave. I want to leave it behind and I want to move on. So a lot of times I don't look at it. Only if my coaches or someone says like, look, you really need to see this and it's really valuable, then I'm like, okay, let's take a look. But I usually just try to forget about it and move on. Yeah.
I believe that both traders and athletes they just have to bounce back fast after crucial losses. So what's your reset routine after a tough defeat? I don't know, mental, physical, whatever.
I usually try to give myself that day. So when I let's say I lose a match, don't talk to me for 24 hours. I'm going to be in the room, I'm going to be thinking about my life, and I'm going to be looking at the ceiling, and I'm going to try and figure out what just happened. But then after that, I'm, the next day I'm okay, and I can, talk about the match and find solutions to what happened. But that day, just don't talk to me. Just let me process it, and then it's over for me. Then I move on.
All right, that was very interesting. That's the end of our warm-up. Thank you, Alex. Now let's move on to the main part, to our main interview. So you were training seriously from a very young age. Do you think that high pressure high focus upbringing really gives people an edge in life. I mean, did you feel you're more structured and mentally stronger than other kids your age?
Yeah, I mean, it's different than going through life in a normal way, go to school and college and get a job and stuff like this. It's definitely a lot more geared towards yourself. It's tennis is a very narcissistic sport kind of, so everything revolves around you and improving your game and what you need, and it also depends what your surroundings are, how your parents raise you, what your coaches tell you, what the people around you tell you, or try to teach you, and just how blocked off are you from the rest of the world or from what you're doing, because most of the time when you're if you decide that you're going to be a professional tennis player, it's a very isolating experience and an isolating thing you're doing, because you go into homeschooling or you're going on online school, like you're not hanging out with your friends or doing nonsense with them or homework or going to parties or stuff like this. You're really just tennis court, school, family, tennis court, school, family. And there's a danger that if you're just exposed to that nonstop, that later in life you might just explode and say I'm done with this and kind of go crazy with partying or life or school. You just want to get away from it. But if there's a good balance and a good structure and good people around you, you're definitely, I feel like you definitely have a bit of an edge on people that are not raised that way, because you learn focus, discipline, routine, and all those things at a very young age, I would say. And you have to, if you want to be good. I mean, I guess that goes for anything. If you want to be really good at something, you need to learn that as quickly as possible and be okay with accept that this is going to be your life.
When you were 22, your arm injury nearly ended your career, and yet you chose not to give up. That's such a powerful turning point, What would you say to someone who's going through their own crisis right now, when everything's at stake and they feel like they've lost control of their lives?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit cheesy, but I would say, kind of listen to your gut, listen to yourself, listen to your heart, if you want to get emotional. But it's, for me personally, I lost my arm. I didn't lose my arm. I was very close to losing my arm. And I just realized, that I spent all my life, learning about tennis and playing tennis and invested so much time into it that I wanted to pursue it and keep seeing, how far I can go with it and how good I can go and what the maximum is going to be for my tennis. Because I realized that, sports in general is a very, there's a time frame on it, because, your body will say no at some point, and then that's it. And then you have, if you're healthy and nothing bad happens, you live another 40, 50 years. So you have enough time to do whatever you want after that anyway. So why not just invest this time in something you like and that you've done your whole life and put so much energy in, and then when the body says it's over, and that's it, and that's the goal. Yeah. So I would say that's to someone, if they're struggling, just kind of listen to your gut and listen to what it's saying, and then commit to things that make you happy.
If I'm not mistaken, in one of your interviews, you said that your coach helped you shift from being impatient to having a more process-oriented mindset. Can you please explain what a process mindset really means to you? I mean, in simple terms.
For me personally, it just means focusing on improving your game as much as you can day by day. Like try to get a little bit better every day, and just get that maximum out of your game. It took, unfortunately for me, I learned about the process-oriented mindset quite late in my career. I was always very impatient. I wanted to have success quickly, and when it never happened, I would always be, what's going on, and get confused and upset. So I had a good coach at the time, and he really kind of helped me understand that process mindset better. Because things take time, and if you do something for a long time, you can't get sidetracked. You need to focus on how to get better. So that's kind of my mindset now.
Are you someone who follows global news, like politics, markets, what's happening in the world, or do you actually prefer to stay in your own lane, so to say?
I try to kind of just stay in my lane. Once in a while I see it on my news app on the phone, but I'm not a politician. I'm a tennis player. I want to make sure that the yellow ball goes over the net and into the court as many times as possible, and that's kind of what I focus on. And if whether something is bad is happening in the world over here or good in the world over there, it's not something I can change. I'm a tennis player. I'm not a politician or a scientist or something like that. I try to kind of stick with the things that I understand. Yeah.
We believe every trader deserves that kind of a wise coach at the start of their journey. At Sabio Trade, we offer a free mentorship by our top tutor, Oleg Prishepa, with decades of experience in the markets. Oleg's helped thousands of traders refine their strategies, understand risks, choose the right tools, and most importantly, stay focused under pressure. You got questions? You got doubts? You got fears? Ask Oleg anything. Learn more and meet your mentor at sabiotrade.com. I know, sir, that you don't trade, but hey, you are on a trading podcast, right? So I have to ask, do you invest in anything at all? Maybe real estate or crypto? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big I'm not a big stock investor. I tried to do that a little bit back in college. I wasn't very good at it. But my family is very much involved in real estate and stuff like that. So I try to go that route too. It's something I understand more than the stock market. So yeah, I'm looking into real estate more. Yeah.
So you tried trading platforms like investing in your previous years, but have you ever tried poker or something just to test your decision making off the court?
Yeah, I mean, I played poker, rarely, but usually when I do, I just let luck take over. So also when I was in college and I was playing with stocks a little bit, I also just kind of through small amounts here and there, and just with no plan, and just see what happens, and checking the phone every 3 seconds to see if the candle went up or down. But I usually I don't understand much of it, so I just kind of play roulette. Maybe that's changed now. Maybe I understand it better now.
Speaking of decision making, that's the point where I want to propose a little experiment. Let's put your decision-making skills to the test here. Even if you've never traded before, all you'll need is just some basic logic, and I'll give you a bit of help too, so don't worry about that. So here's the deal. I'll give you access to a demo trading account, and it's all virtual money, so there's no risk. Don't worry about that. We'll choose a few popular assets, and I'll share some quick facts about what's happening with them right now. And then you'll make the call, up or down. That's it. Very, very easy. So I promised you some help. So before you open a trade, we'll double check if your decision really matches analyst signals from our trading bot. And we'll see how your logic stacks up against the real pros. So if you're ready, we can start.
Okay. Hey, good luck. Yeah. Let's get rich. So it's the account. The money is on this link, right? So let me check here. Okay.
All right. So the first asset, the first thing is, let's say Brent oil. Oil recently hit 4-year lows, dropping to early 2021 prices. So, what you gonna do? Is it up or down? What's your say?
So it's at an all-time low, you said?
It hit low button, but it's like 2021 prices, not the record lows.
Okay, I mean, I'd say buy it. I'd say go up. Let's buy. I think it's gonna go up.
All right. Another one, Ether. Ether is up more than 60% in the last 3 weeks. So what's your call?
Whew, Ether is up, huh? Yeah, I heard my friend. My friend actually did really well on it. I would sell it. Yeah, sell it. Go down.
All right. Another one, gold. Gold rose to 3,500 last month, setting a new all-time high. So, what you say?
Gold, huh? Yeah, up. I mean, sorry, sell it down, and then we'll buy it again later.
Another one, USD/JPY, Japanese yen. It has been in some kind of in a corridor for a year and a half, and in May started to rise from the bottom of the consolidation. So, what you gonna do?
I would. My money's not looking good, huh? I would probably. I don't know anything about it, so I would sell it. I would just get rid of it.
All right, and the final one, JBP USD, so Great Britain pound. The pound has gained almost 10% since February, completely reversing the decline caused by the new U.S. policy. So, what you say?
So it's on the way down, huh?
It has gained almost 10% since February.
Since February it's been going up. Yeah, I'd buy it just to see if it goes up a little bit more.
All right. So to know the results, subscribe to our Telegram channel. There you'll find the latest market news and much more.
There you'll find out if I made money or lost money.
So that was great. Thank you. Let's go back to our questions. After your peak moments, like winning the Davis Cup, how did your mindset change? Did it make you feel unstoppable? Or did it make you feel more pressure to prove yourself? And I mean, in general, what teaches you more, winning or losing?
Just in general, when it comes to tennis, you probably take a lot more from losing than winning, because you lose more than you win, that's for sure. But I would say, whenever I won, like you said, I won the deciding match that 1 year for Davis Cup. That was a huge moment for me, and I've also had a lot of other great results. I try to take the good from it and the confidence I get from it, to kind of affirm that what I'm training is working. But I can't feel like I can't allow myself to feel unstoppable or unbeatable or like too high, because like I said, the reality is that you lose more than you win in tennis. You might have a couple of weeks, you try to ride those waves, those weeks where you play really good, you go deep in tournaments, you might win a tournament, you might beat some really good players. So, you take the confidence from that, but I try my best not to stay too high or too low, because it usually, just gets in the way. If you're too high, you usually get humbled really quickly. And if you're too low, you might surprise yourself. It's interesting. It's kind of like stocks,
like
when
trading,
it's going down. Yeah, if it's going down, at some point it's going to go back up, and when it's going up, you feel great, and then sometimes it's going to come back down. So yeah, I try to emotionally just try to stay on one line, which is a challenge for anyone who's in the sport, but that's usually the goal. Yeah.
May I ask you, which crucial loss in your career taught you the most about winning?
Which loss? I would say, there's two versions to this. There's an emotional one and a financial one.
Let's hear both. Yeah.
Okay, so the financial one is losing in the first round of a main draw Grand Slam. you just look at the money you could have won if you had won that first round, and then how much you could have won if you won that second round, and it just keeps going. So you're like, maybe it's time to go back to practice, and maybe this is all worth it, because it's the numbers get up there when you're at that level. But I mean, I would say that's the financial part that I learned from from losing a match in that situation. I would say from an emotional standpoint, I mean, there's I can't point to one specific match, but there's many matches where where you lose and you kind of, in a way, level up from that loss, if that makes sense. You lose a match, and from that match you try and take, you might reach the lowest of low, and then suddenly in that low something clicks and you figure something out, and then you take off, and that can be life-changing, depending what tournament you play the following week or the weeks after that. But I definitely, learn more about winning from tough matches that I end up losing.
And the final question is here, sir. What's this one truth about life that you only learned through playing tennis for 20 years?
It's already been 20 years, huh? I mean, discipline, perseverance, and focus will get you to where you want to go. It sounds easy, I know, but it's really, in a sense, that simple. You need to be disciplined with what to do. You need to have a good surrounding of people, like in a good team, and you need to just believe that you can do it and keep going, and good things will happen for you. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for sharing your knowledge with us. It was a real pleasure. We're wishing you success in everything what's ahead of you. Thank you and goodbye.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Prop Chat. Ultimate insights of trading with Sabio.
And to all of you, our viewers, don't underestimate the power of discipline and focus. It always pays off. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe, drop us a like, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Telegram for more insights, interviews, and great guests. And by the way, it's a great day for trading. Just think about it. See you very soon.